Good morning. I am at Wilson Park and I've been walking Zelda. My dad had to bring him over for a vet appointment. I do not have my mic in here, it's at home. But I'm not driving, so maybe you can hear me. So I haven't been on for a while. Good morning, because I have not thought that I was supposed to be driving and videoing at the same time, which doesn't bother me. So I'm not driving, I'm sitting in Wilson Park with my Zelda, who I just adore, who I'm so sad that I have her spay scheduled for Monday because she's just structurally what I want to breed. But anyway, she didn't make it into the breeding program because I was concerned that she might produce a restricted esophagus in her puppies, watching her eating habits. So anyway, she is up for adoption, and she's a beautiful brindle out of Bruno Times Champion Jubilee, which again, she got her mommy's rear end, so she's this powerful, correct angulated. I've cried my tears. And Ziva, her sister, went home, I don't know, less than a week ago, about a week ago, and he loves her. In fact, he said, she slept with me. I said, please don't keep her in your bed or she will kick you out of your bed and steal your pillow. So actually, I probably should have a notepad where I wanted to just do some quick videos about things that concern me when people reach out to me and say, my puppy did this, my puppy did that, or I'm doing this. And anyway, also we had a sweet couple come stay with us, not last weekend, today is Tuesday, but the weekend before, so a week ago, last weekend. And they have a 1-year-old out of Champion Goody, and he kind of was being a mess, and so I need to get her testimony. If she would just, I need to get her to send that to me, because she was so frustrated. Not that he's not a sweet puppy, he's a puppy, he just got neutered, he's a year old. I think he was a year old last month. Anyway, but that she just was having a hard time with him. And so the first thing when she walked in the door, I said, what's his name? And she said, King. And I said, well, the first thing we're going to do is change his name. He cannot be the king, okay? He's not the king of the house. He cannot be the king. And so we changed it to Ding, which he does respond to. And not that we should be disrespectful to our dogs, but I like that better. And by the end of the weekend when they left, she was amazed. Oh, so anyway, what I was going to say, on the way when they were driving up, she texted me and said, I'm just going to have to leave him with you, I just can't do this. And I said, well, just come on and let's see. And I think the power of having someone come alongside you and demonstrate. So she watched me interact with all of my dogs and watched how well behaved and settled emotionally they were. When she began to interact with her dog the way I interacted with my dogs, her dog also began to relax, to calm down, and he became. So she kept saying, he's a new dog. I said, no, honey, you're a new person. You're interacting with him in a different way. And so anyway, it was a great success story because he is very young and her window was still open to change some pack dynamics there. So understand, when you bring a new puppy into your home, your puppy looks at you like his new pack. And please understand that this puppy is hardwired. He is hardwired. So think about hardwiring. If you're typing and this is ASDF, every time you hit A, it's going to type in A if it's hardwired correctly. Your puppy is hardwired to have to know who is the strongest, the smartest, the fastest, and the bravest in the pack, and only that person is he going to follow. He's not going to follow someone that's always catering to him, petting him, overindulging him, not setting boundaries with him, the puppy begins to feel typically insecure because they think, wow, if I'm the bravest person in the pack and I weigh 30 pounds, I can't defend this pack as a baby. And so you have deep-seated insecurities in your dogs when you treat them as if they're the leader of the pack. So I had someone call the other day and said their dog was laying in the kitchen and he was walking around it. And I said, no, let's not do that, because you're telling your dog every time you walk around it, you're the leader of the pack and I have to walk around you. So you're giving your dog incorrect information. You do not want the dog to be the leader of the pack. I had another couple one time that they could not hug. They couldn't have public displays of affection in front of the dog, or the dog got upset because, again, they had allowed the dog to think that he was the bravest, the strongest, the smartest, and the fastest pack member. Therefore, he was the leader of the pack. And so what I also see sometimes is sometimes the man of the family will just press in too hard and beat the dog, but that doesn't make you the leader of the pack. Because you can beat your dog doesn't make you emotionally stable, and the dog knows that. So be aware that that's not a good leader. I have some great links on the website to McCain Dog Training, and then that Sean, I think his last name is O'Neill in California. He's great dog training. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are plenty of wonderful trainers out there that I follow, and in every puppy pack we include a Cesar Millan book, which if you read that book, you're going to be ahead of 90% of the general population in knowing how to interact with your dog. So I do like what Cesar has to say about a lot of things, and what I don't appreciate is people picking on him, because when I trained horses, people would bring me, and it's typically always the people, not the horse that had been interacted with incorrectly and taught some very dangerous ways to behave. And so when they would try that with me and it didn't work, you can retrain. So my point is, don't pick on Cesar when he's getting the worst of the unstable dogs, and they're thinking, oh, you're just magic, we'll just give him a pill, and you're going to magically change this dog. Sometimes it can take time. When you are in the right position, the dog can change, but it does take time to establish a new pack structure. So anyway, I love Cesar. I really like, the proof is in the pudding. Look what he does with his dogs. It's amazing. It's amazing. I saw him one time get bit, which was all the owner's fault, that this dog had never really been committed to, had never really felt safe in his pack. And anyway, people that pick on Cesar are like someone sitting on the couch watching a football game telling a professional athlete what they should have done. Like, the person sitting on the couch could have done anything close to that. They could not. So it's easy to be a couch quarterback, folks. It's another thing to get in there and do it. So here's another person. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I used to watch him, Dog Daddy. He's kind of a thin young man with tattoos on his neck, and I haven't watched him in a long time. But the one amazing thing about watching him is that you can see the transformation of a totally out of control dog begin to settle down and come back to being relaxed when someone else is in control of the pack. I think it's amazing. And even watching him and how amazing he is, it doesn't mean that necessarily that it's a good thing that these people have allowed their dogs to get this out of control. But here's the thing, you're not going to kid your dog. You either are the strongest person in the pack or you're not. And if you're going to let your dog walk all over you, you're not. And you're not going to fool them. So you need to grow. The bottom line is you need to grow. And I love my friend Erin Mitchell, because I'm like this to her, because she'll take 8 bull mastiffs out and walk them, and they're like, oh yes ma'am. They don't dare misbehave with one another, or they are not trying to establish who's ABCD in the pack because they know A isn't going to allow it. She's like, cut that out. We're not doing that. And so I loved what she said one time. We were just talking about if a dog had their chew toy or whatever, or even a piece of food, even a chicken leg or whatever. She said, it's mine first. And if I want it back, I can reach in their mouth and get it. And I can reach in any of my dog's mouth and get a piece of food out of their mouth because it's mine first. So we as humans, especially I would say this next generation, you're 20 and 30 and 40 years old, they do need to understand that's not being mean to maintain a proper pack structure. And anyway, I think we've been lied to when we said to correct our children is going to damage them. In fact, the scripture says if we do not correct our children and teach them how to control their own impulses and their own emotions, we do a disservice to them. Someone's going to, if they end up in prison, someone's going to set a boundary that if they cross, there's going to be consequences. So good structure is important. And see somebody coming up behind me. It looks like a Kawanza or a Great Pyrenees. It's a pretty big dog. It's a pretty dog. So my Zelda actually does get a little when she sees another dog, and so she needs to, the more she's with me and out in public, the more she realizes that I'm not going to allow another dog to run up to her. So she's doing good, and she's going to be available for adoption after her spay, which is Monday. So typically we take stitches out at 5 to 6 days and everything is healed up in there, and I hope I don't cry again. So anyway, I just wanted to pop on and say Jesus loves you, and so do I, and God is amazing, and this life is temporal. Taffy went to heaven a week ago yesterday, and I picked her ashes up yesterday, and I'm not going to cry. I'm going to sit with the precious memories I have of her, and with the knowledge that I will see her again in heaven, and I will see you in heaven if you make Jesus your King.